Good morning. For the software demonstration, I plan on stepping through NetSuite's PowerPoints, so to speak, that were just highlighted in the slide deck, no pun intended. First off, I'm going to briefly address security and audit trails. I'm going to try to highlight the efficiency of the role structure by exploring a couple of the role-specific dashboards, as well as diving into a few of the functional dashboards that are available within each role. We're going to try and make sure you get a sense of the single source, real-time, fully integrated application by showing you a new inbound lead from a website, converting that lead to a sale, and actually even sending off a personal email from the CEO welcoming that new customer on board. So trying to do kind of a day in the life as we step through the role process. Through the process, the workflow of NetSuite will guide us through the entire process. And hopefully you're going to get a chance to see how the intuitive interface will help validate how quick user adoption is. Finally, we're going to explore the flexibility of reports and the ease of distribution throughout the organization and the network. So I'm right at as you can see, I'm right on the page for NetSuite, and that's about as easy as it is to log in. You can log in from your laptop, tablet, or phone. So I'll just click Login. Then it is going to prompt me for my email address. So I'll click that in, type in my password, and log in. NetSuite uses strong encryption and robust password policies. There's also supplemental security that is available, such as application-only access and ability to restrict access by an IP address. So you can literally limit which users can access the software and from what IP addresses. Single sign-on is available, as well as token-based security. Once you log in, you're logged into your default role. So I'm currently logged in, as you can see in the upper right-hand corner, as the administrator. My customizable dashboard contains portlets, which are customizable, as I said. There is shortcuts that are typically used by a system administrator, including user management, customization, and utilities. You'll also notice my reminders portlet on the left, which is customized by me to the specific alerts that I want NetSuite to bring to my attention. For instance, possible duplicate records that may require review, or system alerts that are coming from NetSuite. I've also set on my dashboard portlets for quick access to some of the audit logs. So for instance, the NetSuite login audit, so I can quickly drill into success or failure, see people, how they're logging in, as well as a system notes audit. I'm going to click at the top on the administrators and control and drill into a customized center. We can take a brief look. I know for myself, moving from a batch-based system, such as, from a batch-based system into a live system, that sense of security was important, and the audit trail of what was available. There are extensive audit trails that are available within NetSuite. The Safe Search, there's system notes audit log, a scripting log, we talk about a deleted record audit log. That's only for those users that have access to delete a record. And it's not deleting a record without any trail to it. And that would typically be a record that is being deleted that had no activity along with it. System notes, etc. And these can be set up as graphical, like these workflow, with a web browser stats, and who's logging in and how they're logging in. So this just shows a wide type of audit trails that are available. There's a lot of differences between roles, and we kind of focused a lot on that during this demo. I'm going to switch over here on the right to a sales role. And we'll look at Mike Daniels. Looks like he might be a U of L fan. Users can set their color scheme under their set preferences. This comes in pretty handy when you hold multiple roles on your system. Frequently, our users might be both a controller and an administrator on the system. So by switching roles, they can quickly see by color what role they're in. It also helps you if you're trying to switch between a production and a sandbox environment. In the Sage, Sage terminology, that would be typically you'll have a copy of your company data, and that's what that sandbox would be similar to. So you could do testing. There are several portlets that have been placed on my sales rep dashboard. You'll notice my reminders are different than what the administrator's reminders are, and these reminders are much more in tune with my responsibilities as a sales rep, or Mike's responsibilities. He can use any of these reminders to drill in directly to the activities he needs to complete. So again, it's a full one system. So both the CRM is in the system, as well as your customers and your transactions, your sales orders, and your inventory. So here I can see I have 4 calls I need to complete. If I click into that, I will see the actual calls. From this list, I can quickly drill over to the company if I want, or I can just drill directly into the activity that I need to complete and record my activity. I'll go ahead and click back. There are several other portlets on my dashboard that I wanted to bring attention to. I have the key performance indicators. This has been designed for me as a sales rep to highlight where I'm at with my new leads, new opportunities, and new open quotes. Also within here, I can click into the links on any of the details. So I have new opportunities this month. I can click on that, and it will show me that list of opportunities, which is helpful. And I'll go back. I even can click on the graphics. So there's a graph available for me as well. And I can quickly change my x-axis to be able to see a daily view instead. And if I wanted to see what these numbers actually are, I can hover. I'm able to export the information to be able to include in an email to my boss, as well as export out to a CSV file. And I'll slide this down and I'll close it out. Dashboards are fully customizable. I can adjust the layout. I can move portlets around, so moving them up and down to be able to see what's important to me. And I also can add or remove portlets from my dashboard. So let's go ahead and add a portlet. I'm going to go ahead and click on Personalize, and the types of available portlets display on screen. I have standard content, report snapshots that I can add, trend graphs, as well as customized apps. And I can click quickly on currently used to see what's currently on my dashboard. So we're going to go back to standard content, and I'm going to add the calendar. It's as easy as clicking the button, and it's on my screen. I'll go ahead and close out the personalization. From here, I can see what's going on and what I have to complete for today. And if I want to make different adjustments, I can go ahead and personalize even that on my screen. If you look at the top of the screen, we have a menu structure. The menu that you can use, we have classic style menus, something very similar to what you would see in Sage, but we also have what we refer to as centers or custom center menus. These menus have been adjusted for the specific role that I'm logged into, and each center can have its own dashboard. So here's, for example, is the dashboard of opportunities. As within one of the things I wanted to make certain that I show you as I look on the app. Here's the different dashes that are on my opportunities. All of these portlets are specific to opportunities. But one of the things that I found great about NetSuite is how easy users adapt to it and how quickly they adopt it. And one of the reasons I believe that is as one of my clients said, you can get there from here. It's extremely intuitive interface. So as a new sales rep, if I wanted to add an opportunity and I wasn't quite certain how, there's several ways to get there. I can go through the menu system and go to opportunities, transactions, and click on new. Or I could click on my quick add and go to the opportunity, and from here it will create an opportunity fairly quickly. I could have opportunities on my shortcuts, If I wanted to add an opportunity for a specific customer, I can look quickly at my recent records. Bob's Burgers is one of my customers. It's actually a lead. And from here, the Create New button exists also. And from here, I can go quickly down to create an opportunity. If none of that, I can't remember any of that, the worst case, I can even type in opportunity. And from here, I can click on the page to create opportunities. So you can see that it's pretty intuitive to figure out and to move your way around the software. Let's go ahead and follow what I promised, and that is to follow that inbound lead. So within NetSuite, you're able to create quick custom forms, customer forms that you could set up on your website. These forms require no HTML or coding. This is one that I created that allows us to capture lead information. So Sandy Squirrelson from Spacesuits has requested some information. Just go ahead and click Submit. And we'll return back to being Michael, and we're sitting at we'll go return to our home dashboard. I'm going to minimize my calendar so I can see my reminders. And if I quickly refresh my reminders, I'll see that I now have 2 web leads. A moment ago, there was only 1. As I click in to these web leads, you'll see there's Sandy Squirrelson. It just came in. So I need to follow up with her. I'm going to go ahead and click on Edit to pull up the lead. Give Sandy a call. She says she's interested in purchasing some monitors from us. So I'm going to first confirm that this address is indeed where she wants us to ship it. She says it is. So I'll set that as the default address. I'm going to go ahead and click on Save. So that change is instantaneous. And if I wanted, I could actually log the call from there as well. I'm going to go back to Viewing. To log the phone call, I would click quickly on Communication, and I could log the phone call. And this was a follow-up on a web lead. And she's planning to call back later today to confirm the quote. Excellent. I'll go ahead and hit Save. That quote is on the system. So if I happen to be out to lunch, someone else is going to be able to see the message for the call. The next thing I want to make sure I do is go ahead and get that quote in the system for her. I'm on the lead. I'll click Quote. And from here, I'm going to simply select the location that we're going to ship from, put a quick title on my quote. This is our monitor quote. I could change the expected close date, but she did say she was going to call back today, so I'm not going to make a change there. And down at the bottom of my screen, I can start keying in the items. I know she's interested in a Dell monitor, so I could start typing Dell, and all of those monitors that begin with Dell will pop up for me. If I wanted to, I know that she wants more than one. I can even click on the Add Multiple, and because Dell was listed, it lists just our 2 Dell monitors. If I had nothing listed in that box, it would allow us to, let me cancel off here real quick, show you what that looks like. So here's the case where we can add any of our other items on. So I know she wants this Dell monitor. Great, because we have 20 in-house. She wants, and we have 11 of the curved monitors. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 2 of those and 2 of those. Click Done. And NetSuite will add both of those items at the base price. If she had special pricing, that would come in as well. At this point, I can save an email. I'm going to go ahead and do a save and print so that you could see our customizable form could then be adjusted and print and sent it off. Sent it is the new word. There we go. So the quote is in. So later on in the day, if she calls back and she's ready to go, I can slide over to my recent records. Here's the quote that she had put in. I can click Sales Order, and now it's going to convert that quote to an order. At this point in time, I can make any changes to it. I can record her purchase order. make changes to the line information, if how she wants to ship, and I can click Save. Again, I can save in print or save in email. So now my order is in and it's currently pending fulfillment. So I, as a sales rep, can't ship it. However, the warehouse personnel can. So now we'll see how that workflow works. I'll slide over and I'll log in, or I'll, change my role to the warehouse operations. And if I look on their reminders, we can see it has 2 orders to fill. When I click on those orders to fill, I can see the spacesuits order as well as a prior order that's on the system. I can click both. I can select all and submit so that those are all getting fulfilled. Or in this case, I'm just going to do one at a time so we can see the fulfillment screen. In fulfillment, you're going to notice that the status is defaulting to picked. Inside NetSuite, we can configure your software to see stages of item fulfillment. So you can have a picked, a packed, as well as a ship stage. We're going to skip the picked and go directly to packed. On the shipping screen, I'm going to note that this is a residential address that we're shipping to, and I'm going to save and print the label. At this point, it's going to print off my UPS label for me because we're completely integrated. And if we look on the shipping information and carrier information, it's fully integrated. So we'll also have on our packages, we will have our tracking information will get written back to NetSuite. The next step in the process is my end of the day routine, because what happens at the end of the day? UPS shows up, the truck shows up, and we want to ship everything out the door. So I refreshed my screen. We can see that orders to ship changed from 5 to 6. I'll click into here. Typically, what would we do? We would say, yep, these are all of the orders that went out on the truck, and we could click Submit. For purposes of our demonstration, I'm just going to click into the spacesuits order, and at this point, I can mark it as shipped, and it's now ready for invoicing. Our invoicing is done by our AR analyst role, so we'll quickly change over to our AR analyst. In her reminders, she can see that she has 11 sales orders to invoice. She can click on the invoices. Screens look very similar to what we saw in item fulfillment. So training and user adoption is quick, because once you learn how to do one piece, the next piece is pretty straightforward. And we'll click in. Here's our invoice, our order. I'm going to go ahead and click bill, that we're ready to bill this invoice. It's going to create the invoice. If there was something that accounting needed to add to it at the invoice stage, they could do so. They can click Save, as well as Save and Print or Save and Email. And that Save and Print and Save and Email, you could set defaults at the customer. So, and you can follow the defaults as you go through the process, and that can all be automated. So we'll return to her page. And instantly, by the way, Sandy's Spacesuits is on the scene. So we'll go to AR Aging. And if I do a find, can't remember the name of the company. I think it was Spacesuits. Could be wrong. There it is. That's Photo Space. But that gets what you see. Is let's try Sandy's. Nope. So we'll stick with this. Here it is. There's Spacesuits. So if I slide down here, here's my customer Spacesuits, their current balance, and I can drill into that current balance. And from here, I can drill all the way into the invoice. I can back through. And if you can still, just similar to Sage, you can do your adjust your aging to go backwards in time. You also have aging options. So if for some reason on your aging report you wanted to see 4 bands instead of 3, you can quickly change that here, and you can even make them irregular bands. So the reporting flexibility, the reporting is extremely flexible. You'll notice in the bottom right-hand corner, there's a number of buttons. We're going to take a look at some of these when we're looking at an income statement. But from here, you can see that you can export out this report to Excel, to a PDF, to a CSV file or a Word document. I can quickly print it. I can email it. And here's my favorite. I can set it up for a schedule. So I can have our AR aging summary be scheduled to be emailed out weekly every Tuesday. And on my recipients, well, I could send the recipient out to be a sales rep. It could be a group of sales rep. I can also select any other folks that are on our system. So customers, employees, we can define groups on our systems, vendors, sales reps, etc. And once I hit schedule, this will be sent out, and it's going to begin being sent out every Tuesday. I'll go ahead and cancel out. So that's the scheduling. So scheduling is available for any of our reports. From here, let's go ahead. I'm going to go back to the dashboard. Let's switch over to the CEO role. So most of you know Annette, and I know our CEO is pretty much hands-on, and it's nice to have that personal touch, and that's what our CEO wants to do. Looks on his dashboard, he sees on the bottom right that his new customer sale, that the new customers is expanding. We sold 8,000 this month just to new customers alone. Really interested in who those new customers are, and he'd like to reach out to them. Quick and easy, go to Sales, Sales and Marketing Overview, and under his key performance indicators, he'll see he has new customers. I'm going to refresh it just to make sure it's current. And now I can drill into who my 12 new customers are. And there's Sandy, there's the spacesuits. I can drill into the customer. And then from that customer, I can send off a quick email welcoming them on board. Slide down to communications, messages. I'll send an email. That's my recipient, Sandy. I'll select on message. I have a pre-defined template that's going to pull in Sandy's name, thank them for their business, and it's as easy as merge and send. If I look at the bottom of my screen, I can see that Sandy has already, in day one, has received 3 emails from us. When she did the initial, Larry had an automated email sent when the lead was first registered on the website. The second one came out from Phil because the order was fulfilled, so she was notified that it was sent. And then later on this morning, Mike, because that's how I was logged in, it sent the email. I did these in the wrong order. My apologies. Larry was the CEO welcoming them. But you can see that they've already received 3 emails from us. And these can be set up specifically to how you want to do it. So we'll go back to our dashboard. I'm going to take a look at 2 more quick dashboard views. So let's look at the board metrics. So if you're the CEO, information that you're probably very interested in are key performance indicators for income, cash flow, receivables, payables, and sales. Being able to see this in one dashboard is extremely helpful. You can design dashboards for covenant information, financials, as well as look at KPI meters to graphically see how things are going. So I'm going to switch over to the CFO. And just to take a closer look at some of the statements and some of the reporting flexibility, I'm going to drill into the income statement. So here's our standard income statement. This income statement was completely out of the box. I can quickly, as you saw before, we can email it. If I wanted to see a summarized income statement, it's as easy as collapsing my drill down, and then I can expand it to the levels that I want to see. I also can change this one income statement from a total income statement across the entire company to looking at it by class. So I just change my column to class and click refresh. And now I can see our sales by class across. So you can see that this could be by product line, it could be department, it could be by market channel. There's a number of ways that we can do this. This is dimensional accounting at its best. I could look at sales by location and click refresh. If I wanted to see a different date range, I can do that as well, quickly and easily. The other piece that I can do is I can graph this information. So if I click graph, I quickly have a graph of our sales. We can export to Excel, to PDF, and as you saw before, we can email and print. So what I wanted to do is kind of review what we've shown. We started off by just briefly addressing security and the audit trails. We hoped that we demonstrated the value of that single source, real-time, fully integrated application as we followed through that inbound lead from our website. We converted it to a sale. We even had a personal email sent off from our CEO. We highlighted the efficiency of role structures by exploring a couple of the roles that you saw with the role-specific dashboards, as well as the reminders, stepping them through the process. Through the process, the inherent workflow of NetSuite guided the process, and hopefully you saw the intuitive interface that helps validate how quick user adoption is. And lastly, we explored just the reports and how flexible they are and easy they are to distribute out to the staff.